Cheers and welcome to our little podcast, Life, which is all about the stories and happenings around Dorchester and other bits and bobs. I'm joined today by my best mate, a chap called Bill Forry.
Hello. Hello, Governor.
I can't do this the whole episode.
Please don't.
Yeah, I think
we want to try to keep some audience around here. But do they talk like that in Dorchester?
Yeah.
Okay?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. It's
Okay.
charming. They do it better than I do, obviously. But
Well, I don't know. That sounded pretty good.
I talk to a lot of Brits on a day-to-day basis, actually.
So, welcome home, first of all. And, we're all happy that you're back at the anchor desk.
Yeah, me too.
So, how was it?
It was great. It was so much fun. They were lovely. They had everything laid out ready for me. So excited to talk to me and show me all of the parts of Dorchester, not just the parts that were relevant to our story, but like the Neolithic period, the Roman period. So we've got lots coming up in the next segment. Make sure you stay tuned for that.
I'm going to listen in, but before you go right into that, this is kind of a collective narcissism I'm showing. Are they interested in us at all? Like,
Yes.
Do they know about the Dorchester, USA, the most important one here?
I think not as much as you might want them to.
That seems very British, that they really don't give a shit.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we can't wait to see it. We've been waiting with bated breath and teasing this out for a couple of weeks now. So this is the big climactic Dorchester UK episode. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, very excited to share all of the great conversations. I want to thank all the people who made it possible again, and we'll do a formal thank you at the end of the episode. But this is also followed by a great British band that I was able to make contact with while I was there. So this is the Life UK edition.
The Tiny Desk is going international this week.
It sure is. It sure is.
Did you find a place, because this I know was a big point of concern before you left, did you find a place to watch your beloved Bills play American football in London?
So a friend of mine in Manchester sent me his dodgy streaming, and they were quite dodgy. I had to go through several of them before I found one that actually played, and I probably killed my laptop forever. But I stayed up watching the Bills lose to the Falcons until 4 a.m. So that was nice.
Well, the Falcons beat the Bills. I wonder how the Patriots are going to do against the Falcons this coming weekend.
I hope about the same.
Yeah, I don't know. Drake May's on a roll.
I'm so sick of hearing about Drake May. He's the young Josh Allen.
Well, welcome to Boston. Welcome home.
We had a nice decisive victory this weekend, 40-9.
Congratulations.
Nice. Yeah, over the Carolina Panthers, the mighty Carolina Panthers.
Well, at the moment, and I know we're recording this on Thursday, October 30th, but I think the Patriots are atop the Bills in the AFC East. Is that correct?
Did you know that the Sabres are ahead of
You
the
changed the
Bruins
subject?
in the standings?
Yes, I did. The
Which
Bruins
is
are not off to a
shocking.
great start, to be honest. But anyways,
We play you tonight,
yes,
Thursday night. Yeah,
good luck.
yeah, thank you.
So we're going to talk some news this week,
I
or are we just going to
suppose-
talk all Buffalo Bills and Dorchester, UK?
I suppose we can talk about the news. I want to thank you before we get into it for carrying the weight.
It was
in my
a
absence.
great burden on me
You're
to
a
come
fantastic
crawl
host.
out of my office 30 feet away from here and do that. Thank you. I enjoyed doing it, but I think order has been restored in the universe here now. So welcome back. And I had fun talking to Seth and Yahoo last week. It was a good time. And Linda the week before. And
Cassidy. Yeah.
Cassidy McNeely stole the show in my view. But
I don't understand how I leave and everybody comes out of the woodwork to do these.
it took all these other people to make up for one
Oh.
person being off the desk. So, but everybody wants to come back and they will. And there might be a new face next week. And
Okay.
We'll talk about that later.
Very exciting. So today we're going to talk about 4 stories. We've got voting because election day is next week.
Voting's still going on.
Yeah. One of the great establishments in Dorchester is making some moves, restaurants.
Yep.
A new condo plan, always a great topic.
Always condos in the paper
Everybody
somewhere.
loves that.
Yep.
And a new award that got handed out. So
Yeah.
where do you want to start?
To an old organization. I guess we'll start with the election because
Yeah.
as people are listening to this, they may be listening over the weekend as they're heading into election day, which is Tuesday, November 4th.
Mhm.
We're down to the wire here, and really the only election that's still in play is city council.
Yeah.
Mayor Wu will win decisively against blanks probably on Tuesday.
I voted for Mayor Wu. I don't know if you did.
I haven't voted yet. I am going to be voting on Tuesday this time instead
Okay.
of early voting. I decided to hold off and join the the swarms of
You want the
people who come out.
sticker? Is that
Well, they gave me a sticker last time when I voted at Florian on a
nice?
Thursday. It was very quiet in there. But I am going to vote at Lower Mills Library on Tuesday at some point.
Okay.
And the polls, just as a reminder, open 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Tuesday, November 4th, in all the polling locations across the city. So we did have early voting going on over the last week. And from our reporting, that first weekend yielded about just over 2,000 voters citywide at the 10 locations that were open Saturday and Sunday. Not a
Pretty
good
low,
turnout, but
yeah.
not a big surprise. I mean, we had a 23% turnout in September for a preliminary election that featured a competitive mayoral election. So just under 100,000 Bostonians voted in September. I don't think we'll hit that mark probably.
Do you think
And
there'll be
unfortunately-
more trick-or-treaters in Melville Park than there will be voters on election day?
Melville Park, deserves a little break. So no, I hope for their sakes they're not going to get bombarded that way. Over the whole Dorchester, maybe.
Yeah.
So I don't think we'll, and really, I hope that I'm wrong. I hope that we have an unusual burst of civic energy and
Yeah.
we break 30%, which doesn't sound great either, but getting to 20% will be lucky on Tuesday. And the real contest is at large city council and also in parts of Roxbury, parts of Dorchester. District 7 does have a competitive open seat for District 7. But it's not likely to be a huge turnout without the mayoral ticket at the top.
Are you in the prediction business?
Yeah, we did some predictions last week, and honestly, my predictions are different than the endorsements we did in the paper, which
Okay.
I've already heard from somebody's like, "What are you doing?" We made only 2 endorsements, and both for at-large city council. We endorsed Ruth C. Louise Nguyen and Will Onyuhoa,
Okay.
two candidates that the reporter ownership, me and Linda basically put our endorsements out on Monday, and there's 8 very good candidates in my view, for citywide council. So everybody's going to have their vantage point. We made a recommendation based on our observations of these 2 candidates over the last year, and about how we see this, the council and its role under a round 2 of Mayor Wu.
Yeah.
And the check and balance that would be good to have.
So that's your endorsement, but what's your prediction?
My prediction from last week is I think I'm going to
Still
stick
sticking with it?
Yeah.
Remind me, it was Frank, right? Frank Baker?
I didn't go with Frank Baker. Seth said
did,
that Frank
okay.
Baker would come in 4th. I went Louise Nguyen, Mejia, Murphy, and Santana.
Santana.
So
it's the
basically
same.
who won in September.
Yeah.
Frank Baker, I think, is a wild card and could very well pick off the 4th spot. He has some energy behind him for sure. But there's other candidates, and I mentioned Will Onyuhoa. He's been endorsed. He's run the table on endorsements from the media in the last week. In terms of the ones who endorsed, he got the Globe, he got the Herald, he got the Banner, and he got the Reporter, which is speaks says something about the breadth. And those are very different news organizations, all 4 of them.
I hadn't heard much about him until the general, so he's doing something.
Lives in Dorchester, very experienced city hall professional and an attorney. Grew up in Mission Hill, son of Nigerian immigrants. He's got a very interesting narrative.
Yeah. What about District 7? Anything there?
District 7, we did not make an endorsement, but I don't have a prediction in
pretty
D7.
close, isn't it?
Anything could happen.
Yeah.
As Yawu Miller said last week, this preliminary election is really an illustration in why ranked choice voting might make sense.
Yeah.
11 candidates narrowed down to 2, and neither of them, I think, broke 15% of the vote.
Nobody did, yeah.
Yeah, right. So, and both interesting candidates, Saeed Ahmed, who they call Coach, and Minion Culpepper, very different candidates. One is, I think he's around 30 years old or thereabouts. The other is in his 70s and is a veteran. Culpepper, Reverend, very active throughout the decades here in Boston. So voters have a very clear choice or very distinct choice there in D7. So we'll see, but I don't have a prediction. That could go either way.
How soon do you think we'll know that?
I think we'll know by 9 p.m.
Okay.
Yeah, I think 9 p.m. because of the way the city is pretty efficient in getting the results tabulated at the polls. By the way, .news.com and on our affiliated social media platforms on Tuesday night is a good place to check in and get early bellwether precincts. We'll have a whole bunch of people out on Tuesday getting real-time results, putting them on basically on Twitter, X, and Blue Sky
Are you
folks.
putting Yahoo on an e-bike again, or?
Yeah, and well, no question. I mean, the man loves his e-bike, and he's going to be covering D7, obviously, and at large, and moving around the city. But we have like 8 or 9 reporters out on the street that night.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good. All
So
right.
stay tuned, and we'll talk about the results next week.
Cool. We've got an existing eatery that's making some expansion plans into Four Corners. This is Murl's Kitchen.
Yeah.
Um,
Very popular Jamaican takeout place. That
takeout
is,
only right now, right?
Right now,
Yeah.
pretty much. I mean, it might be a little corner of the shop that you can eat at, but no, it's not known for sit-down dining. And what's exciting, there's a couple of things exciting about this. Murl's Kitchen, first of all, is hugely popular.
Yeah.
Seth has been telling me about it for years, and then when we posted about it earlier this week, it's like exploded gone viral on Facebook, etc. All these folks love Murl's Kitchen, and they really are excited about being able to sit down in a dining room
with a drink,
with a cocktail. They will be having a liquor license and I think it's a 9-seat bar, so not a huge bar, but not bad. And it's in a new building called Four Corners Plaza, which is on Bowden Street. So they'll be going, just around the corner, not too far from where they are now on Washington Street, in a bigger space. And they'll be the ground level tenant of a new building, which is owned and just built by the Common Square Neighborhood Development Corp. And in a section of Dorchester that's been under invested in for decades, and it's starting to literally turn the corner. There's another 7-story building that's going up right across the street that's been approved. That'll also have a restaurant in the first story called Down Home Delivery, another popular restaurant in Dorchester.
Okay.
But Murl's occupies a unique and a favored space for a lot of folks because of their Jamaican specialties, their jerk chicken, their jerk mac and cheese, which is maybe the best thing on the menu.
I've
there.
never heard of that. That sounds amazing.
People come far and wide for the jerk mac and cheese. And it's just exciting to see a Dorchester business that's making that step up. And this is what I think a lot of us had hoped for with more liquor licenses being offered, and these new buildings in parts of Dorchester that, Bowden Street and Four Corners has not been a boom town in previous decades. And now, with some investment and some approval and encouragement from City Hall and other quarters, we're starting to see some activity. So very exciting news there for Murl's and their fans, and I think that helps lifts the tide for other restaurants in the neighborhood too.
Yeah, and that Codman area needs more development and more.
We've talked about how Codman is really, seeing a lot of vacancies lately.
Yeah.
I think there is some momentum that comes with a place like Murl's moving up, and that'll help the whole stretch of Washington Street, which could use it. Could use a boost.
Yeah, definitely. Let's shift down to. Is this considered Ashmont? I don't know. Maybe it's Cedar Grove.
I think it's Cedar Grove. You're talking about the Granite Ave project.
Granite Ave project. So you've got some new condos planned. People don't like this idea?
Well, there's a mix. So this is 157 Granite Ave, which is right across the street from, do you know where the park is? Right by the drawbridge at Granite Ave.
Yes.
It's called Neponset 2 Park.
Linda's Bridge or Linda's Crossing. Yeah.
Linda's Crossing. And Marty Walsh too helped with that. So this is a parcel that used to be part of Seagrove Cemetery in question. It was sold a number of years ago to a private developer who has always intended to build housing here.
Okay.
And his proposal now is for 24 units of condo, 25 parking spots, in a parcel that's between an existing office building right by the Greenway and an existing condo or apartment complex that I think has roughly that number, maybe a little bit more units, like 30 units.
These are mostly 2 bedrooms going into this new one, right? Okay.
Right. And it's the developer is Dennis Kahane, who's built some projects like this in the Lower Mills, Dorchester and Neponset area. And yes, there's been a couple of public meetings in the last 2 years about this project. There was one last week, which one of our reporters, Karina Chung, watched and reported on. And yeah, there's people who are concerned about how it's going to impact the traffic in particular.
There's a light there, right? Will that not? It won't be parallel to the light, though, right? Or
it's right basically where the light is.
So will that regulate the parking lot, or
they're going to have to change the configuration of the signals there, which is one of the things people are raising as a concern.
Yeah.
They also have to move the crosswalk that's there right at
Linda's
the,
crosswalk?
no, that's the
Oh.
one by the bridge for the Greenway. This is a crosswalk for folks right at the corner of Hilltop Street
Okay, yep.
and Granite Ave, which is a busy intersection. And coming right off the highway, people coming off 93, and they tend to stack up there. And when the bridge is up, of course, there's a
Yeah.
lot of congestion.
And that right turn only lane that nobody pays attention to. Yeah, they're gonna have to.
And they
start
used to have a
enforcing
lot
that.
of they used to have regular enforcement. People are always getting bagged at that intersection, like, and the locals knew it. They'd be like, "Oh, that person's about to get pulled over."
Yeah, yeah.
And that's not happening
No.
anymore. And maybe they need to think about more enforcement on that. But you're right. People abuse that turn all the time and cut everyone off. It's annoying.
Yeah.
But in order for this development to work, they have to create a new curb cut, a new egress. And I've seen comments on our coverage saying, that's it's too much. It's the common refrain pretty much from every development we see is too many units. Where's the parking? Well, this
Traffic.
has parking.
This has more parking than units.
It has 25
very
parking
often.
spots for 24 units. So, but as you mentioned, some of these are two
Yeah.
bedrooms and,
But it's not near transit, really, as our bus stuff.
well, it's near the Cedar Grove trolley station. You can walk there
That's true.
within 5 or 7 minutes.
You'd have to
depending
go
on
up and
how
then
fast you are.
down Milton Street there.
Yeah, you'd take the Milton Street to cut it. It's not that bad of a walk, honestly, in good
Jump
weather.
the cemetery wall and cut through.
Bobby McEachran will not like people trespassing through the cemetery at all hours, but he doesn't mind you cutting through there when it's open. It is right part of this. It's a parcel that used to be part of the cemetery that was obviously unused.
I hope so.
We're not going to have a poltergeist situation going on here. This was ledge. If you go by there, it's like a lot of parts of Dorchester in that section. A lot of Roxbury pudding stone ledge that's going to have to be removed for this project. So there'll be probably a bit of noise involved in that. But I think that this project at 24 units is probably going to go through the city.
Yeah.
I mean, from all indications we've seen of prior history of approvals, I think that the real sticking point is that traffic configuration and getting buy-in from the neighborhood about that.
I mean, let's be honest, it could be improved. It's not perfect, the traffic configuration now. So I think it's fine if we have to rethink it a little
I
bit.
think once in a while we should be rethinking these
Yeah.
intersections and engaging with Boston Transportation Department. And by the way, our friends in Milton, because their traffic signals impact ours. And
Do we have friends in Milton?
we do. I have lots of friends in Milton. I don't know about you.
I used to work in Milton. I used to work at Steel and Rye.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
There's some good folks over there, and they have their own plans for developing sections of Milton that are close to us.
Well, they have to, right?
They had to, and they did, and they approved it after some resistance.
Right.
But that stretch of Granite Ave on the Milton side for sure could see some development. I say could. They're not mandated to do it. They're mandated to plan it and zone it.
I thought they were mandated to put it near train stops.
They are, but in other words, what they have to do is they have to zone it for that.
Okay.
They're not mandating that it be
They just
built.
have to rezone it because they aren't building it. It's private development.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
okay.
So it very well could see more units of housing on the Milton side of Granite Ave. So people are raising that too and saying,
Yeah.
this could get too much real fast. But I think a property in that location, especially since it's next to existing housing,
Yeah.
is likely to get approved.
I mean, it's bordered by other housing, an office building, and a cemetery. Like, if you can't get housing put in there, I don't know.
I agree, and I think it will probably happen. But just for transparency, there is a public comment period still going on through October 31st. And you can go to .news.com, you can go to bostonplans.org to find the link, read more about the project, and if you don't like it, or if you do, they like to get your
Yeah.
comments on it.
Probably get a lot more antis than pros.
So far, that's what I've seen. Yep,
Not that there are more antis than pros, but
tends to be
Who tends to talk,
the vocal opponents tend to come out.
yeah. So do you remember back in our Ashmont Hill episode, we had Vicky Rugo on the pod?
Yes,
She talked about Dorchester's horse histories, house histories.
I think you're just trying to get me to say the word horse, and I'm not really sure what. But yes, I do remember that episode, and I'm a big fan of the Dorchester House History Project, which Dorchester Historical Society has been doing now for like a decade. And just last week, and we have a story in last week's Reporter about they won an award from the Boston Preservation Alliance to give them props for doing all this work. There's more than 600 of these house histories.
That's a ton.
Yeah, it's great it's great historical content
Yeah.
that is also available, and anybody can read it on the DHS website.
So you
And
can just request that they look into your house if it's a certain age, and they'll give you the history on it.
yeah, there is a small fee. It's
Okay.
reasonable. It's like, it's like $50 or something.
Jeez, yeah.
It really is a volunteer effort by DHS to look into these properties all over Dorchester. Tend to be 19th century, early 20th century
Okay.
properties mainly.
Our
To
UK friends would scoff at that.
I
It's
know
So new.
we're such rookies, but in the scheme of things here, these are homes that are most of them built in the mid to late 1800s.
Mhm.
And the reason there's so many of these, obviously that was kind of a boom time for the neighborhood, and there's a lot of public records out there that the DHS volunteers go look and can easily access
Mhm.
with some work. They have to go and actually physically go and look at these
Yeah.
documents often, and then they compile it and they give you a house report. And if you want, you can also buy a historic marker for your home, which
Yeah.
has the date that it was built.
And does it have the person if there was like a
Yes,
notable
the
that lived there?
architect.
Or the architect? Okay.
Or the notable person,
Yeah.
if you decide to do that.
Yeah.
So in our case, we did this. Linda and I had our house history done a few
nice.
years ago, and Kayla Skillen was the volunteer historian who did the work. She gave us a really interesting 15-page report on our home, which was built in roughly 1878. They had to
Okay.
estimate it a little bit by a guy named Walter Swan, who was the first occupant of our home, and he built the house.
I hope that your plaque says Forry though, because you're the notable and Linda.
I don't think we have a notable on there. We're not that presumptuous yet, but Walter Swan's name isn't on it either. So I guess
Okay.
that says something. But it does have the date, which is really cool, and you'll see them around the neighborhood. It's like an oval, cream colored marker which
Yeah.
you put on. Very confusing for people who think our address is 1878 Richmond Street. It's not. But it does give you that feel, and there's a lot of historic homes in
Yeah.
Lower Mills and Ashmont.
Moultrie was mentioned in here as Moultrie
Mhm.
Street is one of the
Yeah.
ones that got recently went through the project, and that Moultrie is gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Jones Hill,
Yeah.
Upham's Corner,
Savin Hill.
all sections of Dorchester really are home to amazing, historic, interesting homes for lots of reasons. Not only the people who lived here, but the architecture. And in our case, the first occupant, Walter Swan, was a Civil War veteran who'd fought for the Union, like a lot of the men of that era in Dorchester, and he survived it and came and built a lot of the homes in our area, including a couple across the street from us. There's a little street called Swan Court, which is named for him. We knew a little bit of that history, but what's really cool is they really detail it,
Yeah.
and they give you kind of an annotated history, so you can go do more research of your own. There's photos, there's architectural plans. It's really a wonderful
That's
service.
really neat.
So salute to the DHS, Earl Taylor, Vicky Rugo, their whole team, and people like Marty Glenn and Kayla Skillen and others who serve as the volunteers to make it happen. It's great that they're getting recognized, and it's really cool that it promotes it, because other people in the neighborhood, if your home that you live in or that you own or whatever is of interest to you, this is a great thing to do. And you can go to the Dorchester Historical Society website, fill out the form. It's real simple.
I'm sure they're taking volunteers too, if you're interested.
Yeah,
in
I'm sure they
knowing
are.
that history.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Very cool. What's going on next week besides the election? Are you
Yeah,
ready for election season to be over?
I kind of am.
Yeah.
I feel like we're so close. So I'm looking forward to moving on.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing a lot of reporting. We are this week. It's just not ready yet, about Morrissey Boulevard. The commission final report was published to the legislature last week. It's a big report. It's longer than the draft, so we're still combing through it. We're asking our lawmakers for a reaction and what's next. Like, we got a report. We have a lot of engineering details now. We have cost estimate, and they're huge. They're big numbers, like
Really?
almost $1 billion in the worst case scenario. So the real question is, okay, are we going to actually do this now? How are we going to pay for it?
I'm sure Trump will fund it.
Oh, he's taking away all the public works projects from Massachusetts. So, if he's not going to build the Cape Cod bridges, I don't know if he's going to care much about Morrissey
Or the
Boulevard.
Harvard overpass. Didn't that one get
Yeah.
planned too? Yeah.
Like, everything's getting stripped.
Yeah.
So that's part of the story, right? Is like, in this environment, do we what do we expect from the state and the city
Right.
for big infrastructure projects, or realistically we're gonna have to wait a while.
And how long can we wait when it's already crumbling in places, right? Like the bridges.
Mm-hmm. The
Mm,
bridges,
shit.
Morrissey is inundated. At some point there's not going to be an alternative but to do it.
Right.
But is it tomorrow? Is it next year? Probably not.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about this
Yeah,
next week.
it's coming up.
Yeah. What are you gonna do for Halloween?
I'm not trick-or-treating because my daughter has a volleyball game and it's going to take us past trick-or-treating time, at least the conventional hours that are
Okay.
respectable. But we will be partying on Richmond Street. Obviously, there's a block party on Butler Street, so a lot of the kids and a lot of the families are excited about going to that. And yeah,
You have a costume?
I do. I have a costume.
You're
It's
not
a
gonna
secret.
share? Okay.
Maybe there might be a photo that comes out of Friday evening. We'll see. We'll see. I'm kind of proud of it, actually. So I don't want to get ahead of myself, but yeah, I'm excited about it.
Esther and I are going as Wesley and Inigo Montoya from The Princess Bride.
Okay.
Yeah. We have swords, so we figured,
I don't think swords are a good idea for my party. If you're coming to my party,
we'll check
stow
our swords
those.
at the
We'll check
door.
them at the door like everyone else.
Yeah. Well, have fun for Halloween. It's
You
on
too.
Friday. I love that.
Yeah. This year, Halloween fell on a weekend, and I love it.
Yeah, same.
All right.
All right. Well, we'll
see
see
you
you
out
next
there.
week.
Thanks, Erin.
Bye.